Hi everybody, welcome to Evening TV. I'm Evening Ransom, and today I want to talk to you about triangulation. Triangulation, as the name implies, is a term it's a term used for describing kind of a narcissistic manipulation technique where they will triangulate three people, usually themselves. A typical one would be themselves, a wife, and a girlfriend, a mistress. And I've been involved in many triangulations because I've had so many narcissists in my life, and my ex-husband really triangulated me with everyone, my parents, my brother, all of my friends. And the most common is this wife girlfriend thing. So I'll describe how that goes, even though that is the one that is about the only one that I haven't been involved in myself. Okay, so how this would go is that the husband or the wife, but we'll say this scenario, we're going to say it's a guy, that he gets attracted to someone for some reason. There's some narcissistic supply there. And typically speaking, narcissists need a lot of ego stroke constantly, but they're also bored easily. So a lot of times they'll do things just to spark things up, just to get things going. They will target someone for whatever reason, and those are in other videos where we talk about what the reasons are why you might be targeted. But you would be targeted. They'll see some need in you that they can come and pretend to fulfill. And so what they'll do is they'll come to the girlfriend, and they will do a smear campaign on the wife. They will say that the wife, they'll talk about what a hard time they're having. She's turned out not to be the same person that he married, that she has become an alcoholic, a drug addict, gone crazy. She's abusive to him and the kids. She's let herself go. They'll just say all kinds of things about her that are bad about her, and make it look like he's not a bad guy for having an affair. He's actually a really good guy for staying so long and putting up with it and trying to not just leave her, but to, the girlfriend, this person will get this impression that he's been this pillar of strength, and he's tried so hard to make things work. And then he's coming to her saying, finally he'll have a history too. It won't just be the wife. It'll be his parents, and he'll have all these other hard knock stories. And that you're the one that finally makes me feel heard, and makes me feel like I've understood, and makes me feel like I can live again, and whatever. You give me a new lease on life. Okay, so he's targeted her because he sees that this is going to appeal to her for some reason, and it does. And so she's getting a dopamine surge from that, which she was depleted of dopamine for some reason. Maybe a recent breakup, maybe bad family situation, who knows what. But she was depleted of dopamine, so this feels really great. And then he's also backing it up with amazing sex, lots of attention, amazing sex, which is giving her the big oxytocin surge as well. So she's just in a brain fog of all this chemical hormones, and that's making it so that she's not thinking clearly, and just all this attention to fill up this loneliness that she had. Okay. Then at some point, for whatever reason, he'll decide it's time to go back to the wife. It could be he wants to stir things up again. He just wants to, get some excitement going. So he gets back to the wife, and now he does a smear campaign against the girlfriend. Now he talks about how she just wrong idea. She's been stalking him. He was just being a nice guy, and she just went crazy and just got attached to him, and he doesn't even know why. She said so about you. She said insults about ways that she insulted the wife to get the wife all riled up. The wife will, rather than taking out her feelings on the husband, it's much easier for her. She doesn't have to disrupt her life if she just becomes a flying monkey against the girlfriend. And so she'll start getting her friends together and everybody to be flying monkeys to the girlfriend, home wrecker, blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, the husband is just enjoying all this supply from all the chaos he's created. And the girlfriend will in the meantime will be in a complete withdrawals from all the attention she was getting. And so at some point she'll do something like write a letter explaining, how much he's hurt her, because in her mind, she's thinking, surely he would stop doing this if he understood how much he was hurting her, because, that must be why he's doing it. He just doesn't understand how much he's hurting her. And so she needs to make him understand that, right? Thinking again like he's like a normal person, not thinking that is exactly what she shouldn't do, because that's feeding his ego. It's all he wants is to see, he wants to see her suffering. The amount that she suffers is the amount that he is enjoying it. The amount that it makes him feel that much more important the more and more she suffers. And this is just how it plays out. It's all this chaos and it's all this drama. But this, it can get triangulated in a bunch of different ways. Say that finally the wife she's just had it. She said, I'm not going to, I'm so sick and tired of your lies. I'm not going to do this anymore. I want a divorce. He'll go to the kids and he'll be like, oh, kids, Mommy wants a divorce, and you don't want that, do you? I'll be so sad, and I would miss you so much if I wasn't here. And, please, tell Mommy that you don't want us to break up. You don't want us to get a divorce, Or, you might go to the church or your parents or your, different people and, pretend to be a normal person, and they're going to assume he's a normal person. So he's going to go there with bunches of remorse and, that I was having a hard time. I was drinking too much. I let this thing happen or whatever. I'm over that now. There'll be some excuse for why he did what he did and how he's changed now. And there'll be he will have changed such a brief amount of time for the long history of abuse. Like, it's been 5 years of these lies. And he'll be like, but I've gone to counseling with you for the last 2 weeks, and that's supposed to make up for it. It'll be just this huge sense of entitlement. And he'll say to her, that was in the past. Get over it. Don't keep bringing up the past. Because in his mind, those old abuses that's yesterday's history. That has nothing to do with him. And if he did something right now, it's like, he really does believe that he is doing something right in the here and now should make up for anything that's happened in the past. Doesn't matter how long the history was. And their just sense of entitlement is just outrageous, absolutely outrageous. But these sort of triangulations can happen with anybody. It can happen in any different direction. And in my case, it's happened between my husband, my parents, and me. It's happened between my parents and my brother and me. It's happened between my brother and my sister-in-law and me. It's happened between my husband and my friends and me. It's happened in all these different relationships where they'll come in with one little nugget of truth surrounded in a big bunch of lies, and this was back before I understood all this, but catch me completely off guard and unable to even defend myself or anything, because there is this little some nugget of truth. And so in the meantime, I'm trying to catch up on what even is going on, and they're already out of my life. They've already had their say and are out, and it leaves me just baffled. And then it takes me like time to go back over it and piece it together and figure out, oh, that's what's happened. And so their relationships now, I can completely see what the recipe was for disaster. But I didn't see it at all at the time. At the time, I was just seeing her just dumbfounded, just absolutely dumbfounded. There is this one little piece of comfort that it's not that comforting, but it at least gives it some brutal justice, is that I really believe that if the relationships are, if a person really loves you, they're not going to be that triangulatable. That, a person that really loves you and is a quality person is going to talk to you about what's going on and figure it out. They're not just going to be easily manipulated. And in my situation, even though these were relationships that I would have told you, or people, these were close relationships. These were lifelong friends. These were my parents. This was my brother. They were still people that, for one reason or another, they had their own triggers that were being triggered. And so there's no one that left my life because of anything that I did. They left my life because of something they were afraid of, and some fear they had, and something that the narcissist, or my sociopathic ex was able to, a wound he was able to rub raw. I know how I would have reacted, and I did see a few friends, very precious few, but a few people that were not triangulatable, and that's because they wanted to get down to the truth of it. They weren't just going to be willing to throw away a relationship, having a full-on heart-to-heart discussion with me. As much as most people you're going to find are susceptible to this, and you could lose a lot of people this way if, really quality people that really love you will not be lost this way. It will, it does take some insight. It does take some insight. And if people are not so motivated, the things that people believed about me were outrageous. After, a lifetime of proving who I was, seemed really outrageous to me that they would believe it. But, what to them seems more outrageous would be that someone would be lying about me that way. And even more so would be that my own parents would be. So see, the fact that my husband, the first ones that he got on his side were my own immediate family. And so it was a done deal after that, because the rest of the world didn't, I didn't really even know how dysfunctional they were, but that worked really well. So he had the triangles all built right in. So that was really, really, really effective. And of course, in my case, what kicked it all off was that I had this inexplicable heart issue too. So I had like this crazy heart, I almost died of this heart attack. And so that kicked it off. There was an explanation for that too, but he offered a little nugget of surrounded a ball of lies about, he was able to make people get suspicious that there might be drug issues going on because I had this inexplicable heart attack at 33 years old. Of course, it wasn't drug issues at all. That mixed with him going around with my family and knowing that I had a lot of narcissists in my life and how to manipulate narcissists. And so that's how the triangulation works. Just know that if you suspect that someone is a narcissist that you're dealing with, that going to therapy is not going to be the answer either. Because one of the worst kinds of things that can happen is that you get to be triangulated with a therapist. Now, granted, you are light years ahead. If you even are, before you even know you're going, you know that that's who you're dealing with. That's so much ahead of the game than from where I was. Because when I was going through all this, I didn't have any idea who I was dealing with. And I got very fortunate because I went to the people that did tell me what was going on, even though I didn't listen to them, were therapists. They actually saw what was happening. But interestingly enough, the times when we were in a therapy situation, because like my son was in treatment and stuff like that, and so there was family therapy kind of stuff. It was just crazy nuts because my ex was posing. Once I got smart about it, but then I tried to tell the therapist, here's what I think, we're dealing with. He's got this diagnosis from before. That did not get me the support that I expected it would. When I went in, I said, listen, this is what's going on. This is who he is. Just so you know, I'm here to help my son. You need to know that his dad is this kind of a guy. He's got this diagnosis. We've had this long history, blah, 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 based on ignorance and also insecurity and ego needs of this particular therapist situation. They just didn't know how to deal with him at all. And so he was able to really manipulate my son's treatment and stuff like that too. So it's really, it's a tricky thing. We're hoping for people who are insecure, who are easily manipulated. And they can be all levels of people. I mean, it can be judges in court. It can be lawyers. It can be guardian ad litems. It can be, therapists. It can be all over the place. No amount of status or education is going to tell you who's going to know better and who's not. I've seen my ex manipulate all kinds of situations. He was particularly successful with women who he could get some kind of a triangle going with me, where he could get like maybe a jealousy thing going with me or a competitive thing going with me, and then he could come in as the poor guy who just needs some sympathy and, who needs to be nurtured, who needs like a nurturing kind of protector person. He really could play. He could play women like crazy. But, there were a couple of different personality types that really were susceptible to him. And they were kind of opposite ones. There were that one, and then there was also one that was much like him, that was very much like the misogynistic woman hater type, were also very susceptible to his manipulation. But so triangulation's a tricky one, and you'll see the whole things play out with all the things with the flying monkeys, the smear campaign, and all that. All those little tidbits in your triangulation thing. And just know that if you do go to a therapist, these terms that we use here on these channels do show up in some of the books, some of the literature, but they're not uniformly official terms. So just know that if you go into a therapist's office, they're not going to maybe necessarily know what you're talking about. You'll want to be a little bit careful about acting like you're diagnosing things. So it's rare that a real diagnosis happens. You can just say, this is what I see, and these are the symptoms that I see, and this is what, rather than going in and just declaring that they have personality disorder. Because I even did that. I went in declaring that even with an official diagnosis, written diagnosis in my hand, and it still was not readily accepted. Careful if you're getting involved in that kind of thing, and most likely, unless you're in a situation where you're trying to deal with kids, if you can get out, I would just get out, because it's going to go nowhere, and you're going to end up so frustrated. But if you can't, you've got children, you've got to make the best of this situation. Then just stay informed. Don't let your emotions get involved with you. Try and minimize contact, and know that if you get into playing his games, you're not different. You're not the one case that's going to be different, and your letter is not going to be more compelling than the last one. From the last person, your tears aren't going to make the difference. This is a pattern of behavior for him, and if you're seeing all these other red flags and you know what you need to do, I would just go gray rock. I would minimize contact if you can, and that's that. And find a nice guy. Find a nice guy next time. All right. Thanks a lot, you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.